What if you knew how to activate your conscious observer?
So let's tell the world, why would people want to activate their conscious observer?
Well, one of the whole center precepts to awakening is about becoming present. You hear these buzzwords out there in the world. So, what does that actually really mean? Well, it turns out it means a little bit something different for each of the natural numbers.
Okay.
And becoming conscious of yourself, your behaviors, your actions, the way your body is informing you is a way of becoming an observer of your own self.
And when you can observe your own self,
When you can observe your own self, you can actually choose what behaviors and what belief systems you want to hold. So, nurture is one of the sources of our belief systems, but they also come from our natural number, our way of being in the world. We have beliefs that come from our nature and from our nurture. In order to consciously choose your beliefs, you have to see what they are.
yes.
And that comes from observing our own behavior.
Yes, so each of the natural numbers has a different way of observing themselves. There are many psychological models that say, okay, here's the id or here's the ego or whatever it is that's responsible for looking at you and looking from the outside. In the Enneagram, for example, natural number 5 is very much defined as being outside looking in. That's not necessarily the observer we're talking about. Because deep inside us, there is a whole individual. When we're born in our nature. We're born perfectly who we are. And our natural number is there to support us.
And all the attributes that come with it.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
And so as we grow, as children, young children, we start to absorb from the world around us. And the purity, the cleanness, the natural us starts to dissipate a little bit. It gets diluted by everything else that's going on in the world.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No.
Right? It's
no.
actually, we grow into a wholeness as we mature as well. There's 9 centers in our body and one is born active, so it shapes how we are. However, you can learn to activate the others, which brings a wholeness to your being that is quite profound.
So part of our role, Martin and Susan with the Body of 9, is getting the world to the place where our parents, or you as parents or your children, start to help your children activate all 9 before they ever get to the point of being adults. But topic for a later time. What we're going to be talking about today is very much about, okay, your observer, your cosmic observer, if you will, why is it important and how can you use it?
Well, to the point you just made, you become more and more aware of your ability, your presence, your impact, and you become more able to observe your own behavior, the more of the centers you can activate. Because then you understand yourself in the context of all 9, which is very important. So the first step to activating your observer is learning how to activate your body. We've done the collapse and lift exercise, which naturally puts you back in your center. You can learn to specifically do your own exercise for your natural number. For me is a 6, that expansion in the chest, the dropping of the shoulder blades, the lifting of the upper chest. Each of us has a specific activation. From that place, you're actually ready to start to look at what's going on around you, to see your own behaviors, to see the behaviors of others as they're different. So this is the first practice in our 9 practices for presence and creation that we wrote about in our book, Practices for Presence. And that's now available on Amazon. So the first practice is just starting to pay attention, to observe what's happening, to notice when you get triggered, to notice when you get upset, to notice when you experience joy. That noticing starts to tell you a story about how you're living your life.